If you are a photographer and you are not using Pinterest to market your business, keep watching this video. Could you imagine if your client's getting ready for their photo shoot, they send you their Pinterest mood board or inspiration board, and your photos were on that? How exciting would that be? Your client would be so much more excited to work with you when they realize like, oh, these are my photographer's photos. Like you're the inspiration. Amazing. I have used Pinterest for my brand photography business for many, many years, and it has brought me so many clients. Pinterest is the first place somebody goes when they're looking for any kind of visual inspiration. So as a photographer, it's like, duh, we have to be on Pinterest, right? The goal of marketing on Pinterest is to get more visitors to your website, but also to make sure they stay on your website. And I'm going to explain what that means. There are really two main prongs to a Pinterest strategy. The first is what everybody thinks about, like, what do I pin? How do I pin it? How do I write pin titles? How do I write pin descriptions? But the second part of that gets overlooked is how do I keep somebody on my website after they find me on Pinterest? In this particular video, we're going to focus on the second part of that. How do I keep somebody on my website? When it comes to marketing on Pinterest, the first step is to take my client blog posts and pin the images on that blog post to my own boards. In my last video, I talked a lot about writing location-specific blog posts, so watch that next if you haven't already. But the gist of it is to have a lot of different blog posts that rank for different locations near you. I have Pinterest boards for a variety of things, but the key is to make sure you have boards that people are actually searching for. Your boards tell Pinterest what that content is about, so then Pinterest can go and recommend other related content. This is what my Pinterest profile looks like and some of the boards that I have. So I just want to walk you through some of them. The important thing is to make sure that the boards that you create, you have a lot of content that can go in them, but they're also being searched by people on Pinterest. So as some examples, these are some of my boards. I have styling and flat lay inspiration. I also have headshot poses for women, personal brand photography, headshot poses for men. These are all things that people are searching for on Pinterest that I have photos where I can pin to it. So each of these pins leads out to a blog post that I've written. So if we click on this one, this is a client gallery of photos that I made for an artist. Each of these pins links out to the blog post that I wrote of that client. Now, I also want to give you an overview of some of my analytics. Something to keep in mind is I've been on Pinterest for a really long time. In 2024, for the whole year, so January 1st through December 31st, I got 7.2 million impressions, meaning the number of times my pin showed up on screen, 241,000 engagements, which means number of clicks and saves, and most importantly, 30,000, almost 31,000 outbound clicks to my website. That's 31,000 people going to my website that would not have if I was not on Pinterest. So I'm not saying you're going to see these results immediately, but this is the power of Pinterest. These are people that would not have found my work otherwise. And these are all people I'm sending to my website. So yes, you want to send traffic to your website from Pinterest, but we want them to stay on our website and we want to gather their information, their email address, if they want to stay in touch with us so that you can continue to nurture them and market to them after they've clicked out of the tab. So now let me explain how this works for SEO. And here's a graphic because it is kind of confusing. Once you get somebody to your website from Pinterest, that's great. That is absolutely step one. However, to see an SEO boost from that, you need to keep them on your website. The way we do that is by linking out to other relevant content on your website so they stay there. Now, I want to have a quick caveat here. Just because they stay on your website, it's not like a direct SEO boost. It is something that search engines might take into account, so you might as well just do it. The longer they're on your website, the more likely they are to go follow you on Instagram, to get on your email list, to get in touch with you. So in general, it's good to have them stay on your website, but just know that it is not a direct like SEO boost. It just can help in some situations. So to do that, you want to make sure you are linking out to other relevant, actually interesting content that somebody might click on that blog post. Here's how I do it. I typically have a section at the end of every blog post that says, did you enjoy this blog post? You might also enjoy these. I will link out to other relevant blog post. This helps me maximize my retention because most of the time people will click around if they are already looking for photography inspiration. For the first part, when someone is on Pinterest, your goal is to get as many outbound clicks to your website as possible. Then once they are on your website, the goal is to keep them on your website for as long as possible. The way to do that is to link out to other relevant blog posts. So that's why we write so many. We spin this web of different relevant blog posts so you can just link out to everything. Note from the editor, I know I said you want to post as many blog posts as possible. What I really mean is you want to post as many quality blog posts as possible. So if you are just keyword stuffing and writing like bad blog posts that nobody wants to read, that's not going to help you. So don't do that. I have a whole other playlist on how to write a quality blog post. Go watch that if you have any questions. Now, another bonus tip is to add a call to action to get them to sign up for your email list. If you think about it, someone who lands on your website from Pinterest, they're probably clicking on a lot of different pins. So once they close out that tab, how are they going to remember you? We want to make sure that we maximize the chance of keeping in touch with them by adding a call to action or even a pop-up on your website for them to put in their email address. Typically, this is done through something called a lead magnet or a freebie. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a series about how I grow my email list as a photographer. That is the best way to stay in touch with someone once they're on your website. Now, earlier in this video, I mentioned there's two parts to Pinterest, right? The first being actual Pinterest strategy. What do I pin? When do I pin it? How do I pin it? If you want more details on how to run that side of your Pinterest strategy, I highly, highly, highly recommend my friend Catherine's Pinterest Masterclass. Her company is called the Sustainable Strategy Company, and she has run my Pinterest account for years. I did do it for myself for a few years, and then I was like, okay, this is kind of working. I need someone who's an expert to do this for me. I gave my account to her, and it just like skyrocketed my account. I seriously cannot recommend her highly enough. I go to her for all of my Pinterest questions. I really don't trust anybody else except Catherine with my Pinterest strategy, so I highly recommend this masterclass because she's also a really phenomenal teacher. I will leave the link in the description to learn more about her masterclass, and otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, which might be about email lists. If you want it, let me know. See you there.